それじゃあ、
ん？
別れよっか。
は？何を言ってるんだ?
The story begins at a village which is flourishing with great natural resources and people who are adventurers and hardworking. This village is called the Labyrinth City. It is fenced in such a way that it shows a labyrinth physically. In this city where all the boys sit, gambling and doing all their other things, is Nick, a young boy who thinks like an adult according to his adopted father. He is a light fighter in an adventurer group called the Countless Battle Arts. He has just two aims in his life, the first one, which is to get married and love the princess who he is dating, and his second dream is quite simple, which is to take the Countless Battle Arts to the #1 adventurer group in the whole city. Unfortunately, his dreams keep shattering one by one. The words of Argus, his adopted father who took care of him as a kid and recruited him into the group, echo in his ears. He remembers when Argus tells him that they no longer want him as a member of their group because, according to Argus, their interest no longer aligns with each other. Just as though that disappointment is not enough for our poor Nick, he remembers the word of his beautiful princess who he is dating, when she tells him she no longer is interested in the relationship with him and she thinks they should break up. He remains at the table where she shares the news even after she leaves. He comments that the love of his life has also betrayed him and broken up with him. I can assume that you think that a great future awaits Nick. Shockingly, Nick is presently a total idol geek. He is at a concert screaming and shouting the name of his favorite idol, Agate, as she presents her song to her team. He keeps direct eye contact with her as she sings with her team. She asks her crowd which song she should present next, and they tell her she should present her blockbuster, which is the song, the Saint Cheering song. While in the crowd, he remembers how he felt after Argus sent him out of the team. He remembers that he was at the side of the pool, sitting there and thinking about his life. He wonders why Argus would do that to him. Considering that Argus is his adopted father who has taken care of him since he was a kid, he recalls that he approached Argus following an argument in the team. He asks Argus if he is meant to leave Garzo, who probably is another member of the group, and asks if Garzo should use the team's money to pay a woman. Argus tells him the conversation isn't about Garzo. He says the conversation is about him and he thinks Nick is now much more mature than when he took Nick as a child and brought him home. He says Nick is already thinking like an adult and making decisions like an adult, and their insight no longer aligns. So Nick should do well to find a place that fits him and he should leave their group after that conversation. He leaves Nick inside the room while Nick is lost in his thoughts under the rain and depressed. A young girl comes to him with an umbrella. She tells him he is getting wet by the rain and asks if he needs help. He looks at her and bows head back without giving her any attention. She gets angry that he behaves as if she is a stray dog, so she tries to command attention by going closer to him. She gives him a flyer telling him that she is an idol, although she is still a rookie idol, and one of her responsibilities as an idol is to share love and spread love among the people, so she can't leave him alone. She gives him a flyer inviting him to a concert the following day. She tells him the concert is at the public hall by the South Gate the next day, and he should please come. He tells her he isn't interested, but she insists and she leaves him there the following day. He attends the concert and is so proud of the lead idol. The girl with blue hair, Agate, he takes some of their flyers as he returns to his house. At present, his home is filled with images of Agate and several pictures of her group while lying on the bed. He decides it's time he goes to an adventurer's guild, a meeting point to find a new group for him. He goes there that evening in front of the house and he decides that it's time to find an adventure or party where he can work and earn money so he can satisfy his new urge for idols. He screams and enters with great positivity in his mind, but all his positivity gets discouraged when he gets inside. He sees an adventurer looking at the poster and he tries to talk with him, but he remembers Argo's words that he isn't cut fit to be an adventurer. When the man turns to talk to him, he pretends as if he is training. He decides that if he uses his skills as a former adventurer, there he will see someone who will ask him to join their party. But it seems as though all of his words are just wishes. He finds it difficult to ask to join any group as he doesn't want to trust anyone again after what happened to him with Argus. Eventually he leaves the guild that evening with no party at all. He stands outside thinking about what he will do when he goes to an adventurer's bar to drink. He overhears as members of several adventurer groups celebrate and drink together, but the drink in front of him seems too bitter for him to drink. He ponders his issues as he sits alone at his table until a lady who looks like a noble with her long hair and beautiful hair comes to join him also. Another man and an elf lady join them at the table. He sees as a man comes to speak with the noble lady, asking her if she will join him for an adventure, but she ignores him. He sees the gem on her hair and assumes that gem is an antique, and it would no doubt be really expensive. He looks at her dress and concludes that she could be a mage. He looks at the man beside her, he looks like a priest, and he is one. He sees that the man is. He instantly realizes that he could have drank earlier and didn't drink with the girls. He assumes he drank at a cabaret club as he smells of cosmetic. He assumes he's a healer without a party and finds out his tag as a priest is not on his neck. Then he concludes that he's an excommunicated priest. Then he looks at the elf girl. He sees she is a dragon kind, and looking at her fist, he could conclude that she is a veteran. However, she seems lost and without a party. After he finishes his unwarranted explanation, he decides to take a toast to Argus. He says, "The hell with being an adventurer," as he's no longer interested in being an adventurer. He also says to hell with his girlfriend who has left him, and he is no longer interested in love too. He decides to make a toast to all he has lost and he takes his drink, he drinks it and hits his cup on the table. Coincidentally, the other people drop their cup simultaneously saying they will never trust humans. The noble maid remembers her story. The girl, Tiana, is a noble from a wealthy family called the House of Elena. Felt she trains with herself as she calls out the lightning strike, and all her masters are proud of her as they see her works. She walks away after her training and she says that being a magician isn't about magic. She claims that learning magic for her is not about magic, but learning humanity. She says learning magic is learning humanity. She enters a restaurant and asks for Alex, her fiancé. She meets Alex and she happily tells him about her latest win, hoping that he will be happy for her. But just as she says it, Alex tells the lady beside him that that's her personality. She asks him who the girl is, and she says she is Lena. Alex says, Tiana likes behaving. And she marks all her wants for life. He says she makes it look like the teachers are liars and she keeps passing despite them knowing she isn't as good as she is. He says as a result of her good results, instead of his parents praising him as they usually do, they compare him to her. And he's no longer interested. He asks her who she sees in her eyes and walks out of the restaurant with Lena. As a result, Tiana packs her books and bows to get her father. Before leaving the city, she gets to the labyrinth, hoping to find a job. She goes on a job search and she goes to 3 shops, but none of them wish to accept her. She walks away thinking of what to do with her life. Then sees a flyer for a terrain dragon race ticket. She places a bet on a horse and her horse wins. We know what they say about gambling, it causes addiction. She gets addicted to gambling and gambles all of her money until she doesn't have any money to pay rent. She decides to become an adventurer, but anyone who attempts to request she join their party runs from her after seeing her face after her story. The priest Father Zem tells his story. He is from a temple in the city of Medlar called the God of Revelation. The temple has a solution to every problem in life, and he has a little girl Muriel who helps him get a leaf called Rami. After Muriel brings the Rami to him, she will sit on his legs and he will give her a coin. One day she returns late from bringing the Rami and he asks her why he pays her the coin, but she holds his hands and tells him she is in love with him. He tells her she's just a baby and informs her that he is a priest and doesn't have the right to love, so she should care for herself. She releases his hands and takes her coin, then decides to frame him for rape. The following day, as he administers drugs to his patients, he receives visitors and sees Meryl with them. He asks her what had happened and the men say she was holding his coin all through. She tells him she trusted him and throws his coins at him. He is arrested and imprisoned for 3 months before he is banished from the city. He enters a restaurant where he sees that the attendant has hip issues. He heals her and she gives him a gift. The following day, she tells him he isn't a sinner and should go to the labyrinth to become an adventurer. The last girl also says someone she trusted took something from her. They all get drunk, and the following day, Nick wakes up in a room with them. He asked them to leave his house, but Tiana tells him she is the owner of the house and they should leave. As the others leave, Nick calls out for them. He tells them that instead of returning to their usual addiction, they should stay together and form a party since it's hard to trust humans. So that's it for today guys. If you enjoy this video remember to leave a like and subscribe for more recap. Until next time, goodbye.